Hi there, and a very good day. Continuing on our course BJTM 3063 Automation and Robotics. I'm going to discuss about the basic robot programming in this section. Talking about the artificial intelligence, it cannot run away from the programming itself. Any movement of the robot need to be programmed first. So in this case, we need to know a little bit on the programming of the robot itself. So what are the methods of having to that can be used to do the robot programming? In robot programming, a robot must be programmed to do useful work and perform its motion in a work cell. A robot program can be defined as a path of movement of its manipulator combined with peripheral equipment actions to support its work cycle. In this case, the robot arm needs to be moved around using its manipulator. Alright, motor and so on. Alright, so and then they have a movement path. Like the type of robot, we have discussed on the types of robot: spherical robot, Cartesian robot, and so on. Alright, so they need to be programmed. The way of programming of a robot can be done through these 5 types of methods. The first one we call it as a manual programming. Second one we call it as a teach-pendant programming. Third one is we call it as a walk-through programming. The fourth one we use the computer terminal. The last one we are using the offline. What is manual programming? Manual programming is used for robot with a point-to-point open loop controller. So it means that this robot does not have a feedback. It is just moving from one place to another, pick and place from one point to another point. So it is just a straightforward movement, usually a linear movement, to pick and place robot. It is a very simple, from one coordinate to another coordinate. This can be done by manually program the movement of the robot. So it is being mentioned in this note, whereby it is associated with the limited sequence pick and place robot. So for manual programming, it is very limited for pick and place movement robot. The robot are simple in nature and capable of performing many manufacturing tasks, okay. But then the simple programming, and it is a simple programming and does not require a skilled operator, and the capital investment and maintenance costs are low. These robots are capable of high operating speed and have a good accuracy and repeatability. So since this is a simple movement, alright, the robot can do the job very, very fast because it is a repetitive job, repetitive movement from one point to another one, point, and coming back again to that particular point. So this is just a pick and place, and this one can be done very, very fast, and the program can be done manually inserted to the robot program. But remember, this is a pick and place movement, and it is an open loop controller, means that it does not have any feedback. The second one of teaching of a robot or programming the robot is by using a teach pendant. A teach pendant programming involves the use of a teach pendant that has a toggle switch or contact buttons for controlling the movement of the manipulator. So the shape of the teach pendant is as shown on this right hand side diagram. So this is a particular teach pendant, whereby it has whereby the user will be able to input what the programming the movement of the robot by using this particular teach pendant, which is connected directly with the robot controller. So this is how you can do it. It is simple to learn and suitable for programming many tasks found in the industry. Yes, we are using teach pendant usually to move a robot to control the robot, because it is easier. Instead of having to use a separate computer, we are using a teach pendant, which is connected directly to the robot controller. It does not require a skilled operator. Complex motion and application require close tolerance, may require a lengthy programming time. So if the movement is complex, it might need a lengthy time to do the programming by using this teach pendant. The robot must be operating during the programming. So in this case, whenever you are using a teach pendant, the robot arm must be alive. Means that it can move directly whenever you touch any button on the teach pendant. The program cannot be entered into the pendant while the robot is offline or away from the robot cell. This is the weakness of the teach pendant. So in any time, the teach pendant must be connected to the robot controller, which is this one, and at the same time the robot arm must be online. It cannot be offline. Alright, so this is the weaknesses of using a teach pendant. The third programming method is by using a walkthrough method. Walkthrough programming is used for playback robot with continuous path control, irregular motion pattern, and for roughly locating the tool center point for some robots. So actually, for walkthrough means that you are moving the robot arm manually, and then you record the point from one point to another, and then record it. You teach the robot arm the movement by manually moving the robot arm from one point to another. So this is used for continuous path control. So if the movement is continuous and the motion is irregular, it is not normal. It might go circling, or the movement might be a bit complex, like using to do the spray painting or arc welding or grinding or deburring, and also the polishing process. The movement sometimes is a bit complex movement. So you need to ask the operator to physically grab the end effector and the effector and manually move it through motion sequence, recording the path onto a memory. So the operator will hold the end effector and move around the end effector according to the point that he wants to program it. So this is means that and then of course the path must be recorded in the memory. So you are walkthrough, you are teaching the robot arm the movement using your own physical strength. Alright, so this is what we call a walkthrough programming. The next one method of programming of robot is by using a computer terminal. So computer terminal is normal. Computer terminal programming can be done offline or online. The difference between teach pendant and the computer terminal programming is that the first uses manual movement to record the robot action, and the second uses textual language command that are written in English like a statement to perform programming. So in this case, using a teach pendant, you are moving the robot arm manually, so it will move manually from one point to another. Whereby using the computer terminal, you are using a programming language to program the movement, and then after completing the program, then only you will transfer the program to the robot controller so that the program can be run, and to ensure and the movement of the robot arm will depend on the program. It provides better flexibility and high efficiency. The robot does not have to be taken out of operation while the programming is being written and debugged. Therefore, the productivity is not affected. Means that the robot arm does not need to be stopped. Okay, programming can be done in parallel while the robot arm is doing its period operation. So this is a good way of having to do the to ensure that the productivity of the robot is very high. The programming requires the operator to be experienced in the use of the computer, high-level languages, and have to have a good knowledge in programming logic. So you need to have a skilled operator with a good programming language to do the programming of the movement of the robot arm. The last one is offline. Offline programming permits the robot program to be prepared at remote computer terminal and downloaded to the robot controller for execution. The simulation techniques and new program may be used to refine and modify operation without taking up a valuable robot time. Vision and sensor system have been used to update the three-dimensional computer models and avoid necessity for the calibration set in current offline programming. So offline programming still using a computer, but then the only thing is that this particular programming is being done somewhere else, not in that, but not directly connected to the robot controller. So you're doing it offline, and then you simulate it offline, and then after having the right results, then only you will transfer the program to the robot controller. Talking about the programming languages, robot programming languages is a set of words and rules governing their use. Employed in constructing a program, the program provides the control instrument required for the robot to perform its intended task. High-level language is a programming language such as basic programming, or C or C++, that is not dependent upon the machine language of a computer. It has been designed to allow the use of words similar to those in the English language. So basically, each of the robot have their own programming language. Like KUKA programming language, they have their own programming language, their own robot language. But then you can use the common programming language software like the C++ programming or C or basic programming to connect or to relate with the current robot programming language. So basically you can use but then in this case I won't be teaching you on how to do the robot programming using C++ or C, because it's a bit advanced level. So at least you know that you can use program like C++ language to program the robot. Talking about the high-level languages, high-level languages are either interpreter-based or a compiler-based. Because you are using the C++ programming languages, for example, they can be either based can be read as an interpreter base or a compiler base. What is the meaning of an interpreter base? Interpreter based languages execute one line of the program at a time. It executing only one line at a time, and each line has a line number. By converting the line to a machine language that the processor can understood and execute the program. So the interpreter are assigning a line, each one line with a number, and then can be execute or can be understood to the robot program language. All right, that is what we call interpreter based languages. The second one we call it as a compiler based languages, whereby it use a compiler to translate the whole program into machine language, which create an object code before it is being executed. So you compile it all together. All right, it reads through all the program and compile it together and convert the program to a robot programming language. So this is a compiler base. All right, so but I think this is not so important to be understood in this level of subject. So as you goes by, when you are an expert, you will understand what is the interpreter based language and also compiler based language.